2-year work permit period, what does that mean is, you don't get the PR right away. They give you a 2-year work permit first. So you come, within that 2 year, you establish your business, then you get the PR nomination. Okay, that's what this 2 year. One, New Brunswick, this province gives you PR directly. Okay? However, it costs money. $100,000, you put a deposit in the government, okay? And you get the PR directly. You don't have to go through the work permit stage. All right, now, the federal programs, very quick, but not easy. Self-employed, well, 2 types. One, someone who is internationally well-known, athletically or culturally. Okay, someone, for example, in Vietnam, somebody wins a gold medal in the Olympics. It's good self-employed category, okay? Or doesn't have to be internationally well-known. Another category is someone who is culturally, I guess, self-employed in the cultural areas. If you teach, say, piano in Vietnam, for example, you have your own academy, then self-employed. Self-employed, within 2 years, you can get a PR, okay? Startup, 9 months, you can get a PR. If you have a good business idea, okay, any business idea where, say, some venture capital or angel investor are willing to invest money in that business proposal, startup is the way to go. Okay, this is a really fast way to get a PR, usually within 9 months. So these are all different pathways for the business people to come to Canada. Okay? Next slide, please. Okay, great. And I think some of you are interested in family sponsorship as well. Now, family sponsorship, there are 2 basically. Well, there's 3, but you can sponsor. Once you get PR, okay, you can sponsor your spouse. You have to marry somebody from Vietnam. You want to bring that person over. Yes, so spouse sponsorship is possible. Another sponsorship possible is you can sponsor parents and grandparents, okay? But parents and grandparents will take time. Say, for example, if you get a PR now, you gotta wait at least 3 years, okay, before you can sponsor parents or grandparents, okay? Because you need to provide 3 years of tax documents, the notice of assessment, okay? This is the most important documentation that you show to the government, because financially you have to be capable of sponsoring parents and grandparents. Okay? Now, spouse, no need to show the income. There's no need to show that you have a job. Okay? Canada is it's not harsh. Okay? They're not going to separate you because you don't have financial capabilities. No, you can sponsor your spouse, and the processing time is quite fast. Within 12 months, you can get approval of the spouse sponsorship. Parent sponsorship, usually it will take 2 years. Okay? It's not open. It's open once a year, parents and grandparents. So you need to get ready because it's first come, first served basis. Usually it's open in January. Okay? They will announce. Okay? And then as fast as it opens, you have to input your information in there. It closes very fast. I think last time it opened in January of this year, it's closed within like 5 minutes. So you have to be ready with all the information. So if you're interested in parents, grandparents sponsorship, we'll give you the document checklist with all the information we require, and then we have to register within that 5 minutes in order to qualify. Okay? I don't know what time it is, but we'll have the Q&A sessions with, sorry? Yes, Ryan, you want to mention something about the Canadian immigration?
Like if, let's say, if I want to sponsor my parents, and I have PR now, but I have worked in Canada like a year or 2 years before that, and I have income before becoming a PR, can I use the income before, you know, like when I was working under the work permit? Or
You should be able to, yeah. As long as you work in Canada, you know.
right, and you can show the notice of assessment. Right.
Yeah.
And do I have to maintain that income level?
Yes, yeah, you have to, from the moment you file your application, you have to meet it until the application is approved. So chances are it's gonna be at least a year not only your income, but it's also your spouse's income. You combine both.
Right.
Now, the easiest thing to remember is basically you can sponsor up and down a generation. So you can sponsor up to your parents, up to your grandparents, and you can sponsor below. If you adopted a child, or if you have a child at home, you can bring them in, but you can't sponsor across. You can't sponsor a brother and a sister. So again, sponsorship's meant to go up or down a generation.
Can I have another question for you?
Sure.
So, basically, we have to keep up our income. So every year, because online, we see that the income it tends to increase, right? So if your income is still qualified, but then it's not increasing, but that's okay?
No, you have to meet the minimum
Yeah.
cutoff table. It doesn't meet how they determine your minimum income to sponsor, it's based on the size of your family. So if it's just yourself and you're gonna sponsor your parents, they'll consider your family group to be the size of 3. So you therefore have to meet the minimum income required for 3, which I think, I've got it actually printed off on my phone here, just a second. It is,
3 is
For-
around 49.
yeah, 38,185. A size of family group of 4, so if you and your spouse wanted to sponsor your parents, it would be 46,362. Now, if you wanted to sponsor both sets of parents, suddenly the number would go up to 6 people. And obviously the income's well over 50,000 at that point. So it's, you know, it's based on your income. You gotta make sure that you qualify at the time you apply. And you have to qualify all the way through until the application's approved. So, with the parents, or grandparents, you know, because it's taking so much time to process, again, you just have to make sure you're comfortable in your job and you have income coming in, both you and your spouse, hopefully, yeah.
So, basically, for example, if, the income requirement is 40,000, but then, for some people, they're working for commissions. So, for the 3 years, the income's still higher than 40, but then.
Oh, yeah, the
it's
variation doesn't
flexible.
matter. You can make
Oh,
40
okay.
one year, you can make 100,000 one year,
Okay.
50 the next, it doesn't
As
matter, as
long as
long as
we
it's
meet the
above the minimum
requirements,
level.
yeah.
That's correct, yeah.
Anyone has any questions for the lawyer?
And again, you.
This is a great opportunity
Yeah.
to ask
Yeah.
questions,
So,
right? So,
again, the other
yeah,
thing
anything.
to remember, I mean, if you're going to school here, you happen to meet a Canadian citizen or a Canadian permanent resident, you get married, sponsorship's nice and easy, right? There's no
Yeah.
problem, there's no income
Fast and
qualifications, nothing's required. Again, depending on how long you've known each other, questions could be raised by the government, because it's not unusual for people to get arranged for immigration purposes. So, you know, if it's, you know, you love somebody and you met very quickly and you got married, they're probably gonna ask you some questions. They're probably gonna have an interview with Immigration Canada, they're gonna ask you what your favorite color is, how'd you meet, was it an arranged marriage? Again, you just have to be careful, so if you've known the person for 2 or 3 years and you've got proof that you're dating and suddenly you get married, you know, it's much easier to establish that. If it's a very quick marriage, they're obviously gonna investigate it. They're gonna say that, you know, that's not prototypical, that's not usually what happens. So, just to keep that in mind, I mean, marriage is different for everyone. Some people know right away, other people wait. But if you are getting married, again, just keep that in mind, and again, it's an option. It's not unusual. Most people do actually meet their spouses probably in post-secondary education. That's pretty common.
Các bạn có bất kỳ câu hỏi nào về job offer, về việc phân biệt NYA hoặc là bảo lãnh cha mẹ, các bạn đặt câu hỏi nha, bởi vì thông thường để gặp được luật sư hay luật sư của mình thì cái phí cho luật sư của giờ của họ khá là cao, cho nên ngày hôm nay mọi người cũng dành rất nhiều thời gian để gặp gỡ và cũng như connect với the English community ở đây. Nên là any question please.
And the other thing I think Stephen raised it earlier when he was talking about university students and going to Canada. The Canadian immigration system was changed. It's actually encouraging people to go to post-secondary school here to immigrate to the country. So the system for the Canadian immigration is basically based, if you go to university here, you get your postgraduate work program and you work here, chances are you will qualify for one of the immigration programs. We don't know which one, because there's so many different programs out there. But if you go to post-secondary school, get your postgraduate work permit, get a job, work at least a year, you're probably gonna qualify for one of the various immigration programs. I mean, it'll, based on your own personal background, but that's how the Canadian immigration system is worked. We want individuals to immigrate to Canada, who've gone to school here and have worked here at least a year. That's what it's trying to develop. It's determined that these type of individuals best suit Canada's immigration model, because you're getting young people educated in Canada, who've worked in Canada, who wanna live in Canada. These are the type of people they think make the best type of immigrants. So you're in an ideal class to try and immigrate to Canada. Just complete your studies, get your work permit, get a job, work a year, come see us. I mean, that's what it's gonna take.
And you can help them to look for a job?
We can help them look for a job. Again, it depends, again, on their own background and what type of job that you wanna do and the program that we think best suits you. But we certainly have employers that are looking for jobs. They tend to be lower educated jobs, more unskilled jobs. But occasionally we do find people who are looking for more skilled jobs, but that's rare. But if you have an open work permit, again, as Stephen was mentioning, employers are willing to hire students because it's generally they're paying them less of a wage than they'd be paying somebody with years of experience. So, if you can't find a job, come see us. We might be able to help or recommend you to apply to a certain company. But again, the key for any person going to school in Canada, complete their studies, get their postgraduate work permit and get a job. And once you have that job, immigration is generally fairly easy to get permanent residency.
And English as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for most of you going to school there, you would have had to write an IELTS exam in any event to qualify for the school, so I'm usually not worried too much on the English side.
What's the main difference between a experienced class, Canadian experienced class, and skilled workers?
Well, skilled workers tend to have qualified based on their previous work experience, right? So, Canadian experienced class is somebody who's gone to school in Canada, who's worked in Canada.
So the skilled workers doesn't require an education from Canada. And what about the years of experience?
Well, typically these people are basically fluent in English or French.
Yeah,
And usually have a
minimum
master's or PhD.
IELTS 7 is needed to be eligible for skilled workers. Canadian experience class, depending on the job position, if it's A non-code, you need IELTS 7 definitely. But if it's level B positions, then the IELTS score is lower, and I think it's 5. And you just need to get 5 to qualify.
What about the years of experience?
Well, you probably need at least 5 years experience to qualify as a
Yes,
skilled worker.
skill minimum is 1 year, continuous. Okay. Then you'll be eligible. Now, if I were you, if you are eligible for any of these programs, I would advise you to register. Okay? Even though your score is, say, 220, 300, doesn't matter. Register first. There are opportunities. Other provinces will look at your files. If they see a good profile with good background, with potential, they'll send a notification. Okay? We are interested. Once you receive a notification, 600 points, so it's an automatic invitation. So register if you're eligible. Okay, so in order to register, you need IELTS 6 and 1 year of continuous work. Canadian experience guy, you need 1 year work in Canada to be able to register. Okay. Skilled trade is another, program that's very attractive because twice a year, Canada conducts skilled trade only draw. So the points doesn't have to be 460. As long as it's about, I think it's right now 300, 310. Yeah. Then you receive an invitation, get a PR within 6 months.
So can co-op experience count, like part-time work count?
Part-time work, it works 1 year full-time equivalency.
Right.
So if you had 6 months or 1 year of co-op and it was part-time, that's only equivalent to half a year experience.
That would only apply for skilled. No, not
Skill worker or skill trade?
Well,
Well, either.
both, but not this.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, that, not for the co-ops. Canadian experience does not count co-op.
Excuse me, for the skilled workers, is it a must to have 1 year working in Canada? No.
Abroad is fine.
Abroad.
Yeah, the Canadian experience is talking about somebody who's gone to school in Canada or has worked in Canada. That's why it's qualified with the Canadian experience.
You just said that if we found that we are capable, just register.
Oh, definitely, yes.
So what should be ready before registering?
Because when it's all online thing, you try to register, if you don't have enough information or if you're not qualified, you can't even register.
They send you a code.
I see.
Once you fill out the online form, they say if you qualify, they'll get a code. You use that code to set up your profile.
So, skilled workers, the minimum required is you need IELTS test score. So you need the number that shows at least you have 6 in every section: reading, writing, speaking, and writing. Right. So you need all 6. Plus you need 1 year of continuous work experience. Plus you need educational. Well, is that required? Well, you only need high school, right, for skilled. Yeah, skilled workers. So
Depending what the points you're gonna need, right, because it's all these categories are, you get the points based, again, it's 4 criteria: your education, your work experience, your English level, and your age. Those are the things that you're basically given points on. So if you meet the minimum threshold to register, and it could be different for everyone. Somebody with 5 years work experience in a skilled job with a master's degree, can be a little bit older, let's say. So again, it all varies. It's a moving target. It's not just one qualification for one individual.
I have a question about the skilled workers program. So from my understanding, you can fulfill the 1 year of work experience either through part-time work or full-time work.
Yeah.
My question is that, like, if I work at the same place full-time at first and then switch to part-time later, does it still count?
Yes. Yeah, because it's a consolidation.
Okay.
I have a question about work permit. How long work permit can get the visa? How many years? And after expiry work permit, I can extend more. And how many years?